Greetings all, this is Hairy Nick.
And this is a less hairy Justin.
Indeed it is. And may I say your fingernails look fierce. I do like them very much.
It's first order style. Bam. Black and red.
I dig that. That's great. We have some more information about the things that were streamed about the other week, so...
I know, we've had two pieces of information in as many weeks.
It's crazy. I don't know how they do it. For those of you who missed it, AMG, the new custodians of the X-Wing game, at least very soon they'll take over design and all that kind of stuff, did a stream on some of these new packs that we're getting, these new Squadron packs for the Rebellion, Empire and Scum faction. And just today we had a article from FFG. Speaking of which, it's worth noting that this pack will have been entirely designed by FFG, so I don't think this is an indication necessarily what AMG is going to be doing with it. It's going to have FFG like all over the packaging and everything. It'll just be, I guess, distributed by AMG or however all that kind of stuff works. I don't know. I'm not a businessman. I like to look at plastic ships and read cards on the internet. Dive right into this. We'll go into it the same order it appears in the article for no apparent reason. Let's start off with these Rebel cards because we have some pretty cool stuff here. Let's start off with the new pilot because this is just all kinds of hype. Hera Syndulla, still Initiative 6 as she appears on the B-Wing with the same ability. While another friendly ship at range 1 to 2 defends or performs an attack, you may transfer one of your focus tokens, evade tokens, or locks to that ship. This is big. This is really big.
Well, just imagine this with Wedge.
Yes, indeed. I like this. There are so many things I like about this. Like the B-Wing, it goes well into like Rebel Junkyard where you have like just a mishmash of frames where you have like everyone's just helping out, doing handshakes. But more so because this is an A-Wing. It's much cheaper.
Also, the fact that we can put missiles on it, so the X-23 traces gives you the lock. Also, it has a native evade. Last week we were talking about how with the B-Wing, with that ability, there are ways to cheat evade tokens onto it. This just has an evade action. Also, it has a good action economy because of vectored thrusters. And another configuration that we're about to talk about. So it already has ways to get multiple actions and tokens and stuff. So it naturally works quite well with the A-Wing. And I know a lot of the commenters, a lot of you people watching have been saying, hey, we need an Initiative 6 A-Wing on the Rebellion. And I don't think that's necessarily true, but at the same time, it'd be pretty cool. So this is a great include I think a good choice. I think now the only thing we need to have is after this is a Force user.
A Force user? Yeah. Oh, that scares me a little bit. But
get a Ahsoka on there, bam.
Just
It'll
chuck
be
Ahsoka
awesome.
on there. I don't know. Was she ever in A-Wing in the cartoons? I know she was in the TIE Fighter in first edition. But she never appeared.
She was in an A-Wing as well, in Rebels.
Was she? Okay, yeah. I believe you. Let's get her in there. Maybe she's one of the extra cards that come in the pack. We do have a lot of pilots coming in this pack as well, so way more than what we're looking at right here. Awesome card, awesome pilot. We'll see how much it costs, and I think this is going to be very applicable to a lot of people's lists. I think a lot of people have been wanting this kind of effect for a lot of different archetypes, so massive thumbs up. Let's jump over to the configuration card for the A-Wing. This is interesting. This kind of bridges the design of the RZ-1 and the RZ-2 on the Resistance.
So this is called vectored cannons. Indeed.
And what it does is it replaces the baked-in ability of the A-Wing, which would be vectored thrusters, with vectored cannons. It replaces the primary attack with a mobile arc indicator, which makes sense because this allows you to flip it from forward and backwards, just like the RZ-2 A-Wing, or perform a red boost. The difference is this happens during the system phase and not after you perform another action, which is kind of interesting. Kind of good, kind of bad.
It is going to make you fly the A-Wing a little bit differently, and it's also standardized as well. Let's point that out. So you are going to fly this, you're going to have multiple A-Wings. They've all got to have it. You can't
try to bamboozle your opponent by having it only on one A-Wing. Which is good, I think, for the sake of simplicity, for the sake of a simple barrier of entry, having the same baked-in ability on all the same frame. From when FFG were talking about standardization to now, I go, oh, I get it. I get why you wanted to do that. It makes so much sense now that I can actually see it on these cards. Being able to boost during the system phase is kind of cool. It allows your high initiative ships to potentially block. So Hera could become a decent blocker. I don't know if Hera wants this, because being able to double reposition on initiative 6 after they move is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah. I think this might actually be better on the lower initiatives.
Yeah, I reckon you could be right there. It telegraphs what they're going to be doing if you're going to, lock it backwards or whatever. But I think that's okay.
And we've also got the, what was it called? The tail slide slash?
Starbird slash. No, I'm thinking of the X-Wing one. No, the one where it flies over the oopsie daisy lawn. That's right. That's true. Yes, it means RZ1s can now fly through stuff and shoot backwards. Very good point, Justin. I didn't think of that. We've got one more card revealed here for the Rebels. This is the B6 Blade Wing prototype. This is the original B-Wing in the new canon where... there's an episode where Hera and the rest of the rebels discover this, and Hera flies it away, and it's got like a Death Star laser on it, which is indeed what this card does.
What it does. Now, they did say in the article as well that they will be doing one for normal games as well, not just Epic, but will be a different ability.
Indeed, because this one here, that diamond symbol there is a specific resource we only have access to in Epic games. So this is really cool. It goes on a Rebel ASF-1 B-Wing. It adds a gunner slot, which, by the way, right now doesn't really do a whole heap for the platform. Most of them are to do like with turret attacks, but it's nice to have. And it also adds this attack. 3 red dice out of the forward arc at range 2 to 4. Again, epic. Attack, target lock, gain an ion token to perform this attack. If this attack hits, the defender suffers 1 additional hit and crit for each matching uncancelled result after the first. It's a bit to think about.
This is going to be an epic killer. It's just going to destroy the giant ships.
That's the idea. Cool. Even though you're getting ionized, you can just do a 1 forward and hit the same target twice. This combos, interestingly, with a new gunner card we got from the Slave 1 pack for the CIS. Weapons System Officer. After you perform a special attack with the target lock requirement, you may acquire a lock on the defender. So if you're doing what we were just talking about, you fire it, spend your target lock to modify your dice, which is great because all your hits double. And then you do it again the next turn. Kind of cool.
Yeah, that works.
It is a 7-point gunner card. But right now, that's like the only thing. That's the only reason to add this gunner slot, unless we get, of course, new cards in this pack.
Well, I mean, it's Epic, so Epic is a lot more points, so you can afford to not so much waste, but yeah.
Yep. Good point.
I think that'd be good on that. Can't believe that we're getting all these ships, and like we've still got so many unknowns.
Yes,
for all these factions as well. It's so cool.
It feels like they're replacing the card packs. Like they'll do card packs 1 year, squad packs the next, which is kind of annoying because there's like 4 factions that aren't getting a squad pack right now, which means they don't get that love right now. But we'll see what happens. Let's move down to the Empire. We have a new TIE Defender pilot revealed. Volt Skeris, the headmaster of the school of flying
Mr. Mustache himself.
Mr. Mustache himself. Initiative 5, gain a strain token to recover a charge. By the way, he has a charge with a downward pointing carrot, which means you lose your charge at the end of every turn. So the only way to get the charge is to use that action. Unless you've got like upgrade cards that have some shenanigans. Before you engage, you may spend a charge to perform an action. So you basically use that strain token action to change the regular time you get an action to before he engages, which is kind of cool.
It means that he can sort of go up against Initiative 6 and outmaneuver them.
He could arc dodge an Initiative 6 with that, which is kind of cool because you can do your action after they activate during the engagement phase. It means he could take a target lock, against an attacker after having perfect information about where all the enemy ships are. He could boost into range 1 if he's feeling so inclined. Basically, doing anything he wants with perfect information, which is kind of cool. Now, it does get a strain token. It's not like this is like the best thing ever. Doesn't work if he loses his actions because he gets blocked or flies over an asteroid. So bear these things in mind. I quite like him with this new configuration that we're going to get because it adds more blue to the dial, which I think works nicely with those strain tokens. But yeah.
Also, I suppose you could do advanced sensors to do the action beforehand.
That's true. So advanced sensors will not get you any more extra ability apart from the fact that he can use that action and then bump into something and then still get an action during combat, which is kind of cute. I don't hate that. Probably like a bit expensive for what I'd want to be doing. I don't think you want to be bumping if you can avoid it regardless. By the way, I don't think this is like nuts. I don't think this is like the best thing the Defender can be doing. I think there's already, the cards we already have on the Defender are pretty interesting and combo nicely with the new configuration we're about to see. And yes, I know a lot of you in the comments want Vader on the TIE Defender. Hey, it might happen. Just be aware.
Hey, look, if we're getting Vader down in Legion, let's get Vader.
AMG just forced that design through, even though they didn't touch these ones. Look, it might happen, but we're talking like 90 plus points. It's not. It's going to be done.
I would go easy 100. Easy
100. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like don't get too excited. It's going to be. It's going to be nuts if that happens.
Like you would literally fly Vader and like a TIE fighter and that's it, sort of thing.
Wampa. Vader, Wampa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Darth Wampa is what we're going to call that list. Now, speaking of which, a new configuration for the TIE Defender. TIE Defender Elite. Decrease the difficulty of your turns. By the way, on the TIE Defender, 1 and 2 speed are red and 3 speeds white, meaning it'll go white, white, blue instead, which is awesome. Adding blue maneuvers, always good, always very good. Increase the difficulty of your K turns, which means the 4K turn is going to go red, and replace the full throttle with the ability below, advanced fire control. After you perform a cannon or missile attack, so all special attacks it has access to, if you have a lock on the Defender, you may perform a bonus primary attack against the Defender. So this is reminiscent of like the old title cards it had from first edition, except it's a replacement effect, so it feels less oppressive. It feels like it's not just making the frame better, it's just making it different.
Well, speaking of that, like back in version 1.0, that was a negative point. Do you reckon we're going to see this as negative as well?
Oh, it could be. It could be.
Because losing
it doesn't need to be to make it balanced. That's the main difference here. Oh, you're absolutely right. This could be worse than the baked-in ability on the TIE Defender itself. These are all replacement effects. It's not just making it better. It could be a negative cost. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Although, speaking of, like having a tractor beam or jamming beam, and then firing, using that to begin with, and then firing off your actual attack. That seems
for
pretty
real,
good.
man. For real, absolutely.
Stripping some tokens.
I don't think it's going to be negative. I think 2 attacks and making your 3-speed turns blue, I think that is a bump in power. I'm going to say this is going to be a few points at least. But
I reckon. I think it could realistically, you could see it almost only being 1.
I completely agree. Like, it's very hard to evaluate because there are so many things going on that play around with it, and we haven't playtested it ourselves yet, so who knows?
Yeah.
Really cool, though. Really cool. Doesn't have any obvious synergy with the new pilot that we've just seen, but hopefully it does with some others.
That ability will work fairly well with Rex Labrath.
Absolutely. Also, some interesting conversations on the web going on about how this combos with Countess Ried, because she increases the difficulty of the K turns the straight maneuvers turning into a K turn. Now, the straight maneuvers are blue to begin with, and people are sort of asking if this is going to make it go from blue, increase to white, then this will again increase to red. I think it does. I can see why people don't agree with that, but I think this is going to make all of her K turns red.
I think that's the fairest way to do it. Otherwise, you're just breaking the game.
That's a good point. Oh, yeah. Imagine, like, if she didn't have the downside built into this card.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think making these K-turns red and red is the most balanced approach. And I think that's
she also then does gain the option to have more red K-turns as well. So you're not really losing out that much.
No, absolutely not. I think that's the fair approach. Also, the paint job on this is kind of cool. It's got the red tips instead of the yellow tips. Also, a new config. This is for any ship with auto thrusters. So yes, it'll go with the TIE interceptor, which comes in this pack. It also goes on the TIE silencer, which we'll chat about in a second.
We've got first order cards.
That's right. You thought the first order was being forgotten. Not so, my friend. Not so. So it replaces auto thrusters with sensitive controls. During the system phase, you may perform a red barrel roll or boost. So it's very similar to auto thrusters, which allows you to do a red barrel roll or boost after you perform an action, except you get to do it earlier on. Now, I like this because I don't think it just makes existing interceptors better. I don't think it makes Sunterfell better. I don't think Sunterfell wants this effect. I think Sunterfell wants to double reposition after he moves. Yeah. I'm not an expert Imperial Ace player, so feel free to correct me in the comments if you think I'm way off base.
Neither am I.
Yeah. I kind of like it on low initiative ships that can just, move into a block position, do a blue maneuver, and just get value.
I think maybe Turfanier might like this.
Yeah,
I feel
possibly.
Like he could do well with it.
We got Gideon Hask last week. That could be an interesting effect. Just a generic initiative 4.
Once again, this is standardized, so if you're flying multiple interceptors, all have to have it.
Good point. Probably more relevant on this than anything else, because you can't have like a Gideon Hask with this and a Sunterfell without this. Just be very careful with list building with that kind of stuff. Very interesting with Kylo Ren on the First Order. Very interesting indeed.
Yeah. We were just having a chat about this. We could possibly get multiple action Kylo.
Yes, indeed. We can have, 3 action Kylo, because if you combo this with precognitive reflexes and prime thrusters. So I'll bring it up on the screen for you to see. This is in yet another squad builder. So precognitive reflexes on Kylo means he can reveal his dial and do a boost or a barrel roll. Now you might be saying, hey, but Nick, this doesn't work. He's stressed. He can't take another action. But no. That's why we have prime thrusters. Prime thrusters allows you to do a boost or barrel roll while he's stressed. So you do all of these things, then you take a maneuver, and then you do a third action for the turn. Now, this build without any new cards cost 95 points. So I don't know.
It's a fat Kylo.
It might already
he's swole Kylo.
It might already be quite fair. I mean, Ben Swallow is already a thing. It's already a meme. I mean, maybe FFG and in turn AMG are going to make Ben Swallow a real archetype. For the record, I don't think making Ben swole is really the best thing you could be doing with him, but I think it's cool.
Alternatively, you could also just not put this on Kylo. There is also the possibility that we just won't get this config on Kylo.
Yeah, they don't have any configurations currently on any silencers, so they might just not put it on Kylo just for the sake of balance. Yeah, I don't know. I think the points cost is already prohibitive enough that it's like, whatever, have fun. No, all the Timmies will have fun with it, but it won't actually do like stuff in tournaments. I think that's pretty cool though.
I think you will see someone run it if the possibility is given.
If we're allowed to, yeah. All right, let's talk about the best faction of all time. Let's talk about Scum. We have a new Scum Y-Wing card, Initiative 3, Patrick. Now, the Napkin Bomber. Is this a reference to something? Because that sounds like it's like an EU story or something like that.
No idea. He's flying Coruscant, so...
Yeah, I don't know what that's... In the comments, you lore experts, you tell me all about it.
Let us know.
I want to know. After a friendly device that you have locked detonates, each enemy ship at range 0 to 1 of that gains a strain token. Cool that it doesn't affect friendly ships. Whereas sort of bombs going off indiscriminately damage all ships, like a seismic charge does 1 damage. If you use Patrick's ability, it's only against enemy ships, which is cool. It's pretty good. I mean, you've got to lock a friendly bomb, so you're using an action, and it's got to, things have to fall into place.
Yeah, like you've got to do all of them in one turn. Because you've got to drop that bomb and lock it all in one turn. Because unless you've got delayed fuses.
Yeah, it's true. Like, maybe like with Eamon Azamine and Captain Nim. Like, I like that FFG are still pushing to try and make bombs on Scum work. This doesn't wow me, but I like the effect. I like that it invites you to try and play the game a bit differently. That's always a good thing for the game. It doesn't excite me excessively, though. What does excite me is the new Y-Wing talent, though. The Tiafon belly run. Tiafon, whatever. It goes on all Y-Wings, so it will work on Scum, Rebel, and assumedly when the Resistance gets their Y-Wings.
Yeah, and now this is also being given to the Rebel pack as well. It says so at the bottom of the article. So,
which is very important. Oh, I miss Republic as well. Republic also have Y-Wings, so let's get these card packs or more squadron packs and just put them in there, son. You can perform special attacks even while at range 0 of an asteroid. While you defend, if you're at range 0 of an obstacle, attack dice cannot be re-rolled. This is so cool. I love it. It's just different kinds of design.
This feels very memey.
Very memey. So torpedoes and turrets are what the special attacks they have access to. It's really, really cool. I don't think it's going to be like anything busted with certain cards. If it's cheap enough, I can see like running a bunch, like a formation, and just going, let's just fly through my asteroids.
The Republic, do they have a droid that helps them go over asteroids or land on asteroids?
Q7 Astromech.
Yeah.
When you barrel roll or boost, you can move through or overlap obstacles. I mean, they can barrel roll. That's something. I don't think it's not nuts. I don't know if that's really going to do anything crazy, but don't mind it. I think what I like about this the most is just chucking it on a bunch of Y-Wings and just sort of like slow rolling through asteroids and going, I'll fly over asteroids. Remember, you still lose your action, you still take damage. This isn't like the most amazing card that makes you like ignore all the negative effects. But it gives you a pretty decent upside for trying anyway. Last but not least, we have Cutthroat. Now, before we talk about this card, we've got some Cad Bane art here. Are we getting Cad Bane on the Scum faction? FFG, AMG, looking at, I don't know, I'm going cross-eyed just looking at both of them at the same time.
What about if we get it on the, what was his ship for the CIS?
Oh, he had
like a CIS ship as well.
It was the same one the Magna Guards flew. So maybe like there'll be like they'll make that ship for the CIS and he will be flyable on Scum as well. I don't know. That could be a thing. Yeah. But nevertheless, he's sitting in that pilot seat.
And he's Cutthroat.
I see what you're doing. After another friendly ship at range 0 to 3 is destroyed, if that ship is limited or has the Cutthroat upgrade, you may remove one of your orange or red tokens or recover one non-recurring charge on your ship card or one of your equipped upgrade cards. So it's interesting. I sort of I think of this in a very similar way. I think the Dead Man's Switch. Now, for those of you who watch the channel know, I don't really like Dead Man's Switch. I think it's a card with a lot of downside with not enough upside, even though it's a lot of upside. Balancing that at my brain, Dead Man's Switch, the problem with it is you have to actively lose the ship that it's on. In other words, you've invested extra points into a ship and it's getting destroyed. It's a huge cost. This is a lot more flexible, though, because any other friendly ship, I mean, it wouldn't matter if it was a ship it's on because then you get no bonus anyway. But you're probably incidentally going to lose other ships over the course of a game. So that's fine. It can even be cheap ships that don't have any points invested in them. And yes, the upside of this, it's not guaranteed damage like Dead Man's Switch. But it's good. It's good. It means you can remove stress, strain tokens, tractor tokens, whatever. You can recur charges. And
I think that's where it's going to be interesting.
That's where you can do really dumb things. Yeah. You were talking about this before we started. Was it Teltravura? On the Jumpmaster, you can reset his ability to do it a second time.
If you fly like another 5 ships and just imagine if you can do that.
I mean, I don't think it's a great idea. I think you need a lot of things to happen but it's still pretty cool. Morella Uval, who is able to use his ability 2 times. Well, you might get to use it a 3rd time. That's pretty cool. Something I quite like with this actually is Contraband Cybernetics. It's like this one-off, I can get all the stress tokens and do everything for 1 turn kind of effect. And getting to use that twice is pretty powerful. And Contraband Cybernetics is not an irrelevant card. It does see play. So I can certainly see use for that. I think Cutthroat's got to be pretty cheap for it to see play. It is incidental. It's hard to fly around and it's hard to build around. But it's got a decent amount of upside.
Two or three.
2 or 3. I think I agree with that. I think I agree.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just way off base and it just turns out to be way too consistent. But I don't know. We're just a couple of beardy men on the internet. What do we know? In any case, that's all the information we have so far. There are a lot of cards in each of these packs, so there's going to be more articles and more stuff in the coming weeks. This is coming out, was it late March?
5 weeks' time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we've got 5 weeks.
Yeah, FFG. Yeah, okay, yeah. Crank out those articles, FFG. And you know what? And before it comes out, let's announce the next wave. Come on, let's get some good old X-Wing happening.
Let us know what's going on.
Yeah, come on, guys, come on. It's us, your pals.
Yeah, you like us,
weird,
remember?
Bearded Australian pals. That's indeed it. That's indeed it. So stay tuned for all of that. Like always, me and Justin will cover it as it develops. In the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow all the social media stuff down in the description. We've also got a Patreon for the channel if you want to help support there. It's all around. Press the bell icon and share it with some friends. That's around there.
That's the new one that everyone's saying, isn't it? Yeah, share with friends.
Share it with some friends. If everyone shared it with one friend, then we would have just 1 billion subscribers. Don't check the math.
I was going to be like, then we'd have more, friends.
Correct. In the meantime, Justin and I will catch you all in the next video.